MQ-9 drones alongside around 200 troops to Nigeria to provide intelligence and training support to the Nigerian military in its ongoing fight against insurgents across the northern region. The operation is strictly focused on surveillance and advisory support, with no U.S. personnel embedded in frontline units and no drone airstrikes being conducted. According to reports today, the deployment was requested by Nigerian authorities to help identify, track and respond to terrorist threats in the region. The Director of Defense Information at Nigeria's Defense Headquarters, Major General Muhammad Uba, confirmed that U.S. forces are operating from Bauchi airfield in the northeast. The MQ-9 drones, sometimes called Reaper drones, are capable of loitering at high altitude for more than 27 hours and can perform both intelligence gathering and strike missions. The U.S. and Nigerian officials, however, clarified that the aircraft currently in Nigeria are being used exclusively for surveillance.
Meanwhile, a security scholar, Professor Oluyole says the Nigerian government must recognize its limitations and consider broader international support in addressing insecurity. He made the remark while reacting to the recent Maiduguri bombings and global responses, including those of Presidents Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Donald Trump, on BCOS Television's magazine program, Saturday Special. Our correspondent Olamide Owolabi reports.
Reports indicated that no fewer than 23 people were killed while over 100 others sustained injuries following a series of suspected suicide bombings in Maiduguri, one of the deadliest attacks in the recent times in the Borno state capital. Speaking on the development on Saturday Special, a security scholar, Professor Oluyole, described the situation as deeply unfortunate, noting that the insurgency, which began around 2009, has persisted despite sustained military operations. He observed that delayed call for broader international collaboration reflects underlying challenges in effectively managing the crisis. Professor Albert also questioned the frequent deployment of top security chiefs to affected areas, noting that such actions could exert undue pressure on field operatives rather than enabling them to function optimally.
Our intelligence gathering institutions, they gather very credible information about the local context, as you said. We have good information about local context, but the question is, are we really ready to use the information for actually preventing these people from doing what they are doing? I mean, look at since when we've been talking about funding of terrorism in Nigeria. We've been talking about this thing for a very long time. People fund terrorism in Nigeria, but you don't find anybody mentioning anybody's name. So, if you have the information and you are not ready to use the information to solve your problems, then it's your problem. To me, when a political leader is saying we know them, and you are not naming them, and you are not interdicting them, you are not doing anything about them, it shows that you are not fit to be a leader. So we have politicized counter-terrorism in Nigeria, and it's a very big problem.
He further noted that although Nigeria possesses a capable military, challenges such as weak intelligence coordination, porous borders, and gaps in overall security management continue to impede progress. The security expert added that the politicization of counter-terrorism efforts remains a major concern, stressing that national security requires a professional, coordinated, and non-partisan approach.
Security is not what ordinary person will solve. If there is armed robbery in your state, it is not you, an individual, that will go and solve the problem. You need the intervention of the state. If you, an individual, put it on your head, then you become a go. If you, as an individual, put it on your head, you become Una the Kano. No, it is the state. When the state is not there, then the system is...
Professor Albert emphasized the need for proactive and comprehensive strategy, noting that the Maiduguri crisis should be viewed beyond a domestic issue, but a part of broader regional security challenge within the Sahel. He called for stronger collaboration with regional bodies such as Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, as well as international partners to effectively address the threats. Olamide Wolabi, BCOS News.
The Oyo State Governor, Engineer Seyi Makinde, has commended troops of the Nigerian Army and other relative security agencies in the state for their unwavering commitment to safeguarding lives and property, describing their efforts as critical to the relative peace being enjoyed across the state. The governor gave the commendation during a special Eid festive luncheon held in Ibeti, organized by the Chief of Army Staff (CAOS) to encourage troops of 2 divisions on the field. He applauded the resilience and doggedness of officers and men of the Nigerian Army Forces in ensuring Oyo State is considered one of the safest states in Nigeria. Governor Makinde also emphasized that without security, investment, trade and economic development would be a waste, noting that the welfare of soldiers should not be appealed for, but prioritized. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Shaibu, represented by the Corps Commander, Supply and Support and Transport, Major General Nansak Shagaya, pledged a renewed commitment to improving the living condition of soldiers. The General Officer commanding 2 Division of the Nigerian Army, Chinedu Nembefe, explained that the convergence beyond celebration of Salah and its significance was also to prove that they stand together in their sacrifices for a united Nigeria despite the challenges.
The federal government has ordered the arrest and prosecution of perpetrators of alleged sexual assault linked to a local festival in Ozoro community, Delta State. Minister of Women Affairs and Social Development Iman Sulaiman Ibrahim gave the directive in a statement signed by the ministry's head, Press and Public Relations, Hamad Dambazau, in Abuja. The directive followed the viral circulation of a video on social media on Thursday alleging incidents of sexual assaults during the Oluyole festival, regarded as a festival of fertility in Ozoro community or kingdom. She expressed deep concern over reports that women were subjected to sexual assault and harassment during activities in Isoko North local government area. While commending the swift response of the Delta State Police Command, she called for a transparent, thorough and accelerated investigation to ensure that all persons implicated are identified and brought to justice without delay. She described the incidents as disturbing, unacceptable and contrary to human dignity, public safety and the rule of law, noting that the Constitution and the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act provide clear protections against such offences.
No fewer than 31 persons sustained varying degrees of injuries, mainly burns, today in a gas explosion that rocked a filling station in Calabar South local government area of Cross River State. The blast occurred this morning, destroying properties worth millions of naira and razing sections of the facility, including fuel and gas storage tanks. Several vehicles parked on the premises were consumed by the inferno. The explosion, which shook nearby buildings and was initially mistaken for a bomb by some eyewitnesses, occurred in a densely populated neighborhood, damaging adjacent shops and forcing residents and business owners to flee. When contacted, the Cross River State Police Public Relations Officer, ASP Sunday, who confirmed the incident, revealed that it occurred during an attempt by a gas attendant to transfer gas from a storage tank to a service tank.
The National Youth Service Corps (NYSC) has expressed deep sorrow over the death of a female corps member, Victoria Ario, in Abeokuta South local government area of Ogun State, confirming that a staff member is under investigation in connection with the incident. In a statement today, signed by its Director of Information and Public Relations, Caroline Imbu, the scheme said it was deeply saddened by the loss of a corps member under circumstances that are currently being investigated. Sources familiar with the case alleged that the deceased, named Victoria Ario, died from complications arising from an abortion procedure. It was further gathered that an NYSC official, reportedly in a romantic relationship with the deceased, had been taken into custody, although authorities have yet to officially confirm the circumstances surrounding her death. The incident comes amid growing concern following the recent death of another core member, Mary Adeleye, who was also serving in Abeokuta South local government area. She was reportedly found lifeless in her residence near her place of primary assignment, with the cause of her death still unknown.
This broadcast of Newscope comes to you from the Broadcasting Corporation of Oyo State, Ibadan. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has called on its staff and Nigerians to uphold accountability, discipline and integrity. The Commission stated this as preparations are in top gear for the upcoming governorship elections in Ekiti and Osun State. Chairman of the Commission, Professor Joash Amokutan, made the call in his message to Muslims faithful as the world marks the end of the 2026 Eid al-Fitr. In the message issued by his Chief Press Secretary, Adedayo Kitola, Amokutan noted that the end of Ramadan should inspire renewed commitment to credible electoral processes. He described the Ekiti and Osun elections as tests ahead of the 2027 general polls. INEC chairman urged the commission staff across the country to adopt a zero-tolerance stance on misconduct, noting that professionalism remains non-negotiable.
Meanwhile, as the 2027 general elections draw near, it is crucial for politicians and their supporters to prioritize peace and avoid any actions that could potentially disrupt the electoral process. These perspectives were shared by diverse stakeholders in conversation with BCOS reporter Olamiposi Ishola as preparations for the general elections gained momentum. Here is his report.
Undoubtedly, the 2027 general election is approaching steadily. Aspirants from various political parties have initiated consultations in preparation for the primary elections. This is required so that the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, can determine the candidates that will be listed on the ballot. With the date fast approaching, prominent political stakeholders are highlighting the necessity for aspirants and their followers to maintain peace in order to ensure the survival of Nigeria's nascent democratic system. During a conversation with political stakeholder Dr. Wasiu Olatubosun and former Senator for Oyo South District Dr. Kola Balogun emphasized the importance of politicians adhering to the rules.
And I want to use this opportunity to appeal to all politicians that let's play the game according to the rule. We don't need to go into blackmailing. We don't need to go into thuggery. We don't need to go into destruction, any form of destruction, because whether we are supporting a particular candidate or we are funding crisis because of our inordinate ambition. If you destroy the society, that because you want to rule or you want to represent, who are you going to represent?
Let peace return to Nigeria. Northeast, southeast, northwest, southwest, everywhere. Let there be peace. Let the 2027 election be peaceful. Let there be no violence. Let this be free and fair. and may God give us the most deserving public servants, those who are elected, and when they get there, they should also remember that they're in that office to serve God, and when you're serving God, by the same logical extension, you're serving humanity.
Honorable Soji Alade, a politician, and Honorable Kamaldin Mudashir, the chairman of Lagedi local government, have called for all stakeholders to work together to secure a peaceful election.
I want to encourage Nigerian citizens that they should not get carried away. Because there will be a lot of, the same way, the same approach that some of the politicians will come to approach them. But this time around, it will be good if we don't really follow party sometimes. Just check the individual what he can offer, and check the antecedents, what he has done earlier. Because this 2027 now will really mean a lot to Nigerians. I pray we don't miss it this time.
During the Ramadan, we pray to Almighty God to give us peace, unity in the state. So today we are witnessing and we are enjoying the peace and the unity in the state.
According to the INEC, the January 16 has been fixed for presidential and National Assembly elections, while governorship and state assembly election is expected to hold on February 6. Oluyole, Ishola, BCS News.
Tuberculosis, a highly contagious airborne disease, remains a major public health concern, especially in poorly ventilated environments. Health experts warn that the infection may take time to manifest, increasing the risk of undetected transmission. This formed part of discussions by the Oyo State Technical Officer of the Damien Foundation, Modupe Okweso, ahead of the World Tuberculosis Day on the BCOS magazine program Saturday Special. Our correspondent Olamide Wolabi reports.
Ahead of World Tuberculosis Day 2026, attention is being drawn to the persistent threat of tuberculosis, a preventable and treatable disease that continues to claim lives globally. Speaking on Saturday Special, the Oyo State Technical Officer of the Damien Foundation, Modupe Okweso, explained that tuberculosis is an airborne infection that can affect the lungs, brain, and other parts of the body, depending on an individual's immune system. She noted that while the disease can occur at any time of the year, cases tend to increase during the dry season, which airborne transmission is more likely. Okweso identified key symptoms to include a cough lasting more than 2 weeks, persistent fever, and unexplained weight loss, urging individuals to seek medical attention promptly.
It's spread through the air, it's transmitted through the air, not through food, not through handshakes. No, it is airborne. That's why it is kind of complicated. So the thing is, if there is anyone, if we find ourselves in anywhere that is overcrowded, where there is lack of ventilation, in areas where in slummy areas where there is poor ventilation and all that, and the organism thrives in the air. So when we find ourselves in such enclosures of poor ventilation, in fact, it can stay in vacuums of air conditions and all that. TB establishes in the lungs, basically. Most times, we have disseminated TB that it can establish in other organs of the body. We can have TB in the brain, we can have TB in the spine, we can have TB in every other organs of the body. But basically, we have what we call pulmonary TB. It establishes itself in the lungs. So what happens is that, depending on the immune system of the individual.
She reiterated that early testing is critical, stressing that tuberculosis is easier to prevent and manage when detected early.
One preventable measure is early testing. Once people are tested, are screened. Now, screening, we don't actually wait for you to come down with the disease. This time around, we have several tools that, and of course, with the 4 cardinal signs and symptoms of TB, you're already screening yourself, So screening, when you check those signs and symptoms, if they are there, come out for early testing. That is how one of the ways we prevent the disease, early testing.
Okoso also emphasized the need for increased public awareness, noting that tuberculosis is highly infectious, but that free and accessible testing services are available to curb its spread. Olamide Wolabi, BCOS News.
On the foreign scene, more than 20 countries today said they would contribute to efforts to ensure safe passage in the Strait of Hormuz, condemning Iran's closure of the vital waterway. The 22 countries, mostly European, but also including the UAE and Bahrain, call for partnership with nations who are engaging in preparatory planning. In a joint statement, they condemned in the strongest terms the recent attacks by Iran on unarmed commercial vehicles in the Gulf, attacks on civilian infrastructure, including oil and gas installations, and a de facto closure of the Strait of Hormuz by Iranian forces. Threats to the Strait of Hormuz and the Iran-US-Israel conflict have caused global crude oil to surge above $110 per barrel.
Meanwhile, one police officer was killed in a drone strike by outlaw groups on the headquarters of the Iraqi National Intelligence Service in the heart of Baghdad. This comes after another drone attack on the U.S. military base in the country. Foreign Desk Editor Folashade Akintola compiled details and other stories as presented by Bimbo Akombi.
Head of the Iraqi Government Security Media Unit, General Saad Maan, said in a brief statement today that a drone targeted the headquarters of the Iraqi National Intelligence Service in the Mansour district at about 10 a.m. local time. The drone attack on the headquarters of the National Intelligence Service came hours after another attack on the United States military complex. According to 2 security officials, overnight from Friday to Saturday, at least 3 drone attacks targeted a United States diplomatic and logistics hub that houses U.S. military personnel at Baghdad International Airport. Iraq has been unwillingly drawn into the regional conflict triggered by the U.S.-Israel attack on neighboring Iran on February 28, with its territory being struck frequently since then. A fighter from the Rashid al-Shaabi former paramilitary coalition was killed late on Friday in an attack on a military airfield in northern Iraq. Iran says Japanese ships will be allowed to transit the Strait of Hormuz in the latest sign that Tehran has started pursuing a selective blockade of the strategic waterway. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi told Japan's Kyodo in a statement yesterday that it is closed only to ships belonging to their enemies, adding that ships from other countries can pass through the strait. Japan sources more than 90% of its crude oil imports from the Middle East and is heavily dependent on exports transiting the strait, but the waterway has been de facto closed since the United States and Israel attacked Iran on February 28. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps warned in the early days of the war that its forces would set ablaze any ship trying to transit the waterway, bringing marine traffic to a near standstill. Over the past week, however, Iran has toned down the rhetoric to say the strait is only closed to Tehran's enemies. Japan will soon join the small cohort of countries, mainly China, India and Pakistan, whose vessels have been allowed to transit the waterway in recent days with approval from Iranian authorities.
I believe that after the war, the first step should be drafting a new protocol for the Strait of Hormuz. Naturally, this should be done between the countries that lie on both sides of the strait, as they are the principal parties in this matter.
2 people were killed in a Russian drone attack on a home in the Ukrainian city of Zaporizhia, local authorities said 2 children, 11 and 15, were also injured in the attack, which took place on the eve of new talks between Ukrainian and American negotiators in the United States. Negotiations on ending the war have been on hold since the start of the latest conflict in Iran. President Volodymyr Zelensky wants his negotiators to discuss the U.S. decision to ease sanctions on Russian oil implemented by Washington to help keep down global energy prices. Talks mediated by the U.S. have so far failed to stop the fighting in Ukraine or change Russia's demands, and there is little hope of a breakthrough. On the agenda for the U.S. talks is setting up another trilateral meeting involving Russia, as well as efforts to smooth over the rocky relationship between Volodymyr Zelensky and United States President Donald Trump, who has accused the Ukrainian leader of being the main obstacle to peace. Bimbo Akonbi, BCUS News.
To end this edition of Newscope, here again are the top stories. The United States has deployed multiple MQ-9 drones alongside around 200 troops to Nigeria to provide intelligence and training support to the Nigerian military in its ongoing fight against insurgents across its northern region.
The Oyo State Governor, Engineer Seyi Makinde, has commanded troops of the Nigerian Army and other relative security agencies in the state for their unwavering commitment to safeguarding lives and property, describing their efforts as critical to the relative peace being enjoyed across the state.
No fewer than 31 persons sustained varying degrees of injuries, mainly burns, today in a gas explosion that rocked a filling station in Calabar South local government area of Cross River State.
And on the foreign scene, more than 20 countries today said they would contribute to efforts to ensure safe passage in the Strait of Hormuz, condemning Iran's closure of the vital waterway.
That's all from the Newscope desk for now. It was packaged by Mary Adedapo and delivered by
Tabitha Komolafe
and Ido Shekoni. Thanks for listening, and do not forget to tune in for the Yoruba version at 8 p.m. Good evening.
From the city of Ibadan, the home of ancient warlords, in the Pacesetter state, this is Oluyole FM 98.5 Ibadan.
This Ramadan, Kivo Non-Dairy Creamer joins families across Nigeria in prayer, reflection and unity. From iftar to Soho, enrich every cup of tea, coffee, custard or pap with Kivo creamy goodness.
At sunset, as loved ones gather for iftar, make every moment richer, smoother and tastier with Kivo Non-Dairy Creamer.
Kivo Non-Dairy Creamer. Make this Ramadan a good time moment.
Kivo Creamer. From the city of Ibadan, the home of ancient warlords, in the Pacesetter state, this is Oluyole FM 98.5 Ibadan. 98.5 FM. Oh yeah. 98.5 FM. That's the place to be. With the for the best in news, sports and entertainment, we got everything you need and so much more, yeah. 98.5 FM, Oluyole. 98.5 FM. Hear me now, to go down to the #1 station, ready for quality information, brighten up your day in so many ways. 98.5.
praise you. With all my heart, forever will I praise you. With all my being, Alpha, Omega, Jesus, you are Lord.
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 Imela, Okaka, Imela, Chineke, Imela, Oyoma,
Imela, Okaka, Imela, Chineke, Imela, Oyoma.
Imela, Okaka, Imela, Chineke, Imela, Oyoma.
Imela, Okaka, Imela, Chineke, Imela, Oyoma.
Imela, Okaka, Imela, Chineke, Imela, Oyoma. God, you are so good.
Now so I come back.
Worthy of honor and praise.
Take up Miss Oluyole FM 98.5. Tell us after news, then I go come back.
You are exalted,
How on a day?
Most High. God, you are so good. You are worthy of honor and praises.
Anybody who don't know Chineke like God, that person a living cup.
Lord Most High.
Anything what we do for this world, no matter say things they upside down, we will they close. No how the thing where they hot go one day cold. It's all of us go jollificate.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter what the people say.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter what my eyes may see.
I say you are good. You are so good. You are exalted. You are the Lord Most High. It doesn't matter.
Because they said the plan of a hard-working person, they lead them to prosperity. They can't talk say anyone where they lazy, when no one work, one land himself to poverty.
Witness in my heart, I really.
What we want to say, all of us will go rich, oh. But if you don't work, what you like God see, you say they work and they hard working. Know how? If I thought you know be billionaire, you know be millionaire, you will be Tanzania. Chineke Allah go give you peace of mind where you take spend the money kule and take care of your entire family.
Oh yes, I know it is. I know it's a lot. There's a wind.
It'll be 3 weeks ago, I would say 2 weeks ago, Sha. And this my sister, my mother, my everything. Auntie shown to it on, mommy don't show it on. Now you knock the gate of heaven, say the one way when they do this for this world, you don't do. This one we call I Am Born Again. That record if you get Baba Eshe, Baba Eshe, he says Eshe, I wear some God. Make our soul rest in peace. Oh, it's hard. I don't know why good people they work like that. Only Chineke God knows why. Oh, only Chineke God knows why. We be say the wicked one they go don't destroy many things before they can't repent. Chineke God will still say well, go still forgive them. Oh, Bologbo, oh Bologbo. Chineke God come around ye bury. That's what we call I Am Born Again. This stars shown to it. Suru Gede.